In this short lecture, I just want to provide the basic concepts you need to know right now about MLA Works Cited and in-text citations. The Works Cited page is still part of your paper. It will begin on the page following the last page of your text and should be page numbered appropriately. The title Works Cited is centered at the top. Each entry is formatted in hanging indent where the first line is on the left margin and all subsequent lines are indented 1/2 inch. The list is alphabetized by whatever comes first in each entry, usually the author's last name, but this can be the title of the work when there is no author. The reason for hanging indent is that this makes the alphabetized list easy to read. When MLA updated the guidelines for creating works cited entries, they focused on 9 elements to be included in the citation and the order in which they should appear. These elements may be a little different for different kinds of sources, and you will not find all these elements for every source, so you will need to include only the elements that exist for the source or those considered relevant or significant for the kind of source you are citing. Keep in mind the purpose of the works cited entries are to communicate to your audience how they may find the sources you refer to in your essay. You can read more about each of the elements and how they are formatted and reported in the citation on my MLA Works Cited handout on D2L or on the Purdue OWL website. You may also find models for citing different sources in Everyone's an Author with Readings and the Purdue OWL website. For example, citing one of the essays from our textbook may follow Model 19, a work in an anthology, on page 585. An anthology is a collection of works, and the readings in Everyone's an Author function like an anthology. To show you an example, let's create a citation for Roxane Gay's The Illusion of Safety, The Safety of Illusion. We begin with the author's name, starting with the last name because that is what will be alphabetized on the Works Cited page. Next is the title of the source, in this case the article title. Titles of short works will appear in quotation marks. The container is the larger publication in which the work appears, in this case, the title of our textbook. Note that some sources, such as a novel, are self-contained, so you would cite the title of the source only once. Container titles will be italicized. While the authors of our textbook wrote the instructional material, they serve as editors of the reading section, which means they selected and collected the readings to include in the book. They did not write them themselves. When there are 3 or more editors, you may just list the first and add et al., which stands for and others. Next will come the edition number, which is important because the 3rd edition is not the same as the 2nd edition. Neither the work or the container is part of a numbered series, so this will be skipped. The publisher is the company that produced the book. The publication date is when this specific version was published, in this case, the copyright date of the book. Finally, the location for a print source will be the page numbers it appears on. These elements may be put together in order into the citation that will appear on the Works Cited page. In-text citations let your readers know what source you are referring to and where in the source the material may be found. You will need to use an in-text or parenthetical citation whenever you quote, paraphrase, or summarize a passage from the source. In-text citations make a reference to the source on the Works Cited page, pointing the readers to the publication information for the source, and you will also need to include the page numbers where this quote or paraphrase may be found in the source. If there are no page numbers, you may leave this blank. Thus, you will need to refer to the author's last name, or, if there is no author, to the title of the work. You may mention the author's name and/or the source title in a signal phrase or a paraphrase, and then just cite the page number in parentheses after the quote or paraphrase. Or, if you do not mention the author's name as part of the text of your writing, Just place it in the parenthetical citation along with the page number. As readers know the author's last name, they will then be able to find it in the alphabetized Works Cited list and gather all the publication information. We'll discuss Works Cited at other times throughout the semester, and hopefully this is enough to get you through Major Assignment 1.